The choices we make today, I truly believe, will shape the world we live in tomorrow. This is the type of leadership that we really want. Let's not make the same mistakes again.
Welcome to our Innovatology podcast, where innovation meets technology and where the future is demystified. I am Marie, the founder of Marie Olivier Ltd, and I am empowering my clients in bridging IT and the business.
And I'm Cedric, a digital transformation program lead at AB InBev, the biggest beverage company in the world. But together, we are Innovatology, a platform dedicated to decode the complexities of the latest tech and innovations just for you.
Yay! So our journey began that we discovered that there is a gap for providing a platform not only for the experts in innovation and technology, but also for the wider public, where actually we can decode all of the innovations and technology for you. It started in biohacking summits in Amsterdam to, for example, Las Vegas CES.
And now we're here to share that passion with you. Whether you're looking to stay ahead of the curve in your career or you're just curious about the next big thing in the digital world, this is the place to be.
Why to listen to us? Have you ever wondered and were confused about how to actually use artificial intelligence and other technologies and buzzwords that actually are running around us? Well, then the Innovatology is exactly for you, where you can learn how to utilize it and integrate it immediately in practice in your professional and personal life.
Innovatology. Dream it, plan it, do it. Hello and welcome to the Innovatology podcast, your go-to for all things related to innovation and technology. Today we're going to dive into a thought-provoking discussion regarding the rise of generative artificial intelligence tools and as such the surge of digitalization in our society, which is in contrast to the leadership choices we currently have within world-leading countries such as the USA. So let's jump right into it. Digitalization is really no longer just a buzzword. It's becoming a defining characteristic of our modern world. From smartphones to smart homes, our lives are increasingly intertwined with digital technology. Whether it's about online shopping, remote work, or virtual socialization, we're all connected to it. And this trend is also exemplified by the AI barometer that took place over the year of 2023 in Flanders, a region in Belgium, where the results of the study just came out at the beginning of this month, and it really intrigued me. Over 20% of the population is using generative artificial intelligence on a daily basis. And among us, the younger generation, we're even using it even more than the average. According to the study, above 42% of the younger population is using artificial intelligence on a daily basis. Now, this can take place on your smartphone using apps such as TikTok and other social media platforms where it might sometimes be seen as a waste of time. But other than that, we're actually also using it for more productive purposes. Like with generative AI, such as ChatGPT, we're actively using it to help optimize our day-to-day workflow. We use it as a co-pilot during our studies. We're using it as a co-pilot during our work. The possibilities are really endless, and I'm loving it. And it's an exciting future that we have ahead of us. However, it does raise sometimes concerns because we don't necessarily know the implications of exposing ourselves too much to technology in this sense. We don't yet know the boundaries between using and getting used by technology. So we might sometimes be wondering, are we nurturing that creativity or are we opening the door to other potential risks? We're not going to talk necessarily about this part of the discussion today because I think what is more important for us to tackle this question is to have the right level of leadership that can guide us in the right direction and help us nurture technology, nurture our creativity through technology. And this is where I currently see a really big gap in the realm of leadership. And for me, the prime example of this is really a country that I've always regarded as the world leading country in the modern age, the USA. I am finding personal difficulties with understanding how we can enable ourselves and also the future generations through the increasing surge of digitalization, when the only real options that we are being provided with on leadership are two elderly people, being Joe Biden for the Democrats and Donald Trump for the Republicans. Now, I'm not saying that they were not good leaders or great leaders in their own due time in the past. However, I really ask big questions towards myself and towards you, our community, whether we want these elderly to be on the front line of the digital surge. I mean, I don't know how it is with you, but I have had difficulties with my grandmother giving her a new phone, which wasn't even a smartphone. It was like this old Nokia which had the very big button so she could see. And she's, I think, very similar in age with both Biden and Trump. Now, I do have to say as well, like Biden and Trump at this moment, they look more healthy. However, you do see signals that they're not in the prime of their capabilities anymore. I think they're well past that. And it just really makes me question whether this is the type of leadership that we really want for ourselves, to embrace the digital technologies that are coming to the surface. From my perspective, we really need strong leadership that might not be able to understand the technology and the details behind the technology, but that is at least able to grasp the impact and the influence that technology will have in our daily lives. Because no matter how you look at it, this surge of digitalization is an unstoppable force. We're not going to stop it. So we need to start getting on that train, and preferably maybe even catch a speed train so that we can get ahead. Because if we don't learn how to incorporate these new digital technologies in our day-to-day routines, where we can use it and not get abused by technology, where we can teach our future generations to use technology in their favor and not get abused by it, the more we can get an enabled society in the future. So this is a dichotomy that we're currently facing. It's like we're witnessing a clash between old and new ideologies, between established power structures and emerging digital forces. And I'm very curious how this dynamic will shape the future of our governance, both domestically in the different countries, but also globally. If you're enjoying our content so far, make sure to follow us on our social media channels.
Like, for example, LinkedIn, where you can become an integral part of our Innovatology community. This space is for like-minded digital nomads like you, who can share, collaborate, and also comment on different tech and innovations.
So don't miss out on this opportunity to network with people who are just as passionate about technology as you are. And let's embark on this journey of innovation together. As we navigate these complex intersections of technology, society, and leadership, it's going to be crucial to engage in thoughtful dialogues and critical analyses. And that's why I've come to you today raising this dichotomy, because it's an open question that I've been asking myself on what is my standpoint on this? Am I going to be taking a specific standpoint? Because I truly believe that we need to do something more, that we need to put more young leadership in the front line and not just keep relying on the older forces that have been there. I mean, for us ourselves as well, we always complain that the elderly, let's say, don't give us the opportunities to take charge. But then at the same time, I feel that there's a lack of commitment on our side to also push for that. And this is where I do feel that technology has made it easier and more difficult. Like, with technology, we have a voice that can spread at the speed of light. However, we also have so much more choices to rest ourselves. So if we truly believe that we can make a change in society through digitalization, then we need to make that step up. We need to give that alternative in leadership instead of only being left with the choice of the elderly. So the choices we make today, I truly believe, will shape the world we live in tomorrow. And I want to continue exploring, innovating, and pushing the boundaries of what's possible together with you. So I'm really interested to hear more feedback from you as well. What are your thoughts on this? Whether you have any interesting insights on this as well, or what your point of view might be. Now let's be clear, and this is also where I'm facing an internal struggle. I'm not a politician. I don't have the ambition to be a politician at this moment. However, as a conscious person, I do want to have the choice for someone who will represent my values. And this is really something that I'm currently missing if I would be a US citizen in the USA. But I also feel it in Europe, in my own country, in Belgium. I do not feel that there's a strong connection of leadership and the digital world. We're only talking with the politicians about what would need to be fixed about yesterday, what would need to be fixed about 10 years ago, or what has not been fixed for the past 10 years. Instead of starting to look of what is going to be needed from today onwards to the future, what are the things that we need to give to ourselves and our communities to thrive in an increasing digitalization of the world. I mean, again, in Belgium, in Flanders, one of the interesting outcomes of that AI barometer was that currently the educational systems, they're not fit for purpose, where teachers are struggling with understanding the full potential of a tool like ChatGPT. Do we allow it in the classroom or do we forbid it? We don't have the right framework for that at the moment. And I'm calling upon you. Let's start thinking about these things. Let's start raising these topics to our leadership. They're way too important to just neglect and to keep the current discussions as they are at the moment. I don't want to talk about what happened with a certain part of our population in the past. I don't want to hear about the difficulties of bringing the Flemish and the Walloon people together in Belgium. This is an obsolete discussion. We are going to stand stronger if we think as one country. We are going to stand stronger if we think together as one continent in Europe. Let's stop isolating ourselves. We are our own individuals, and that is important to take into account. But that doesn't mean that there is a common platform where we can all start looking at to empower the future generations. So let's make sure that when we think about ourselves, that we also think about the future generations. What do we actually want to leave behind on Earth for them to thrive in? And I really think that we need leadership to step up domestically, but also globally. So I'm counting on you to help raise your voice. Looking forward as well to hear your thoughts, to see how we can spark a movement. And if needed, I'll step up, but only if it's really needed. If there's someone else that wants to do it, please be my guest, and I'll be happy to vote for you in the next elections. But you have to be younger than 45 though. The only criteria that I have is that you have to be under 45. You need to be inspiring for the younger generations, and you need to have a forward-looking mind. Don't look at the past. The past is what it is. We learn from it, but then we apply the lessons that we learn from that moving forward. Let's not make the same mistakes again. And that's it for today's episode of Innovatology. I wanted to trigger the internal conversation that you might have as well in your mind between looking at the surge of digital tools in our day-to-day lives versus the choice of leadership that we have in our countries domestically and globally. So thank you for joining me on this journey of an internal reflection. And remember to stay curious, stay inspired, and until next time, keep innovating for yourselves. This is Cedric signing off.
Thank you for joining us on this Innovatology episode. Your feedback not only inspires us, but also empowers our Innovatology community.
So remember to follow us on our Innovatology channels because we've got plenty more insights, stories, and guests lined up for you in the future.
So hit that button follow and you will not miss any of the future episodes.
This is Cedric
And Marie.
Your guides on the journey of innovation
And technology. Yay!